Okay, 101 integral 0 to pi by 2 sine power 8x into cos square x dx. Okay, we directly have the formula. We start with one less than this, which is 7 into 5 into 3 into 1. Okay, directly one less than this is 1 only. 8 plus 2 is 10 and keep on decreasing to which is 8, 6, 4 and 2. Because both are even, I have to write pi by. That's it. I think they want us to simplify. Nothing in the denominator, something can cancel. 5 2s are 3 2s are. So it should be 7 pi by something.
7 by 5, 12 pi.
But yeah, it is their answer 7 pi by 512. Okay. I hope board is clear. I'm using a different mobile. It should be more clarity should be there. Okay, 103. In 103, we have d of x minus integer part of x. But nothing to worry about integer part of x. Anybody want to tell what is the derivative of integer part of x? Derivative of integer part of x. Anybody? Nobody is speaking. Derivative of integer part of x is 0. All of you know step function. It is always horizontal line. Integer part of x is a constant. Either it is 7 or 2 or 8. So derivative will be 0. So this is same as dx. Of course, at every integer it is not differentiable. Other than integer, it is derivative of this is 0. You can even write dx minus 0 if you want, and it is. So this 103. It is 0 to pi by 4. If I take tan x power n minus 2 common, I'll get tan square x plus 1 into dx. 1 plus tan square x is secant square x. So 0 to pi by 4 tan x power n minus 2. 1 plus tan square x is secant square x. So if I take tan x as t, this will be dt. So it will be 0 to 1 t power n minus 2 dt, where tan x is equal to t. That's it. Its integral is t power n minus 2 plus 1 by n minus 2 plus 1 with limits 0 to 1. So which is finally 1 by n minus 1. Okay, one may say why they given reduction formula with just 2 common and it is like a regular integral. Actually, this as the base, we can find 0 to pi by 4 tan power any number actually. Of course, here it was not asked that way. Is it clear? 103, everybody? Okay, 105. Integral 0 to a x cube into x into a minus x whole power, sorry, 6 into a minus x whole power 3 by 2 dx. Okay, because x also we have to deal with a minus x also, better to take x as a sine square theta. Then the limits will be 0 to pi by 2. When you put it here, it will be a sine square theta whole cube. Here it is a sine square theta, here it is a minus a sine square theta, which will become a cos square theta later on, power 3 by 2, and derivative dx, a into 2 sine theta cos theta dt. Okay, just try to simplify this and try to complete the answer. Okay, what is the answer you got? This is a cube sine power 6 theta. This is 3 by 2 and this will go. Actually, I'll get one a common here. I'll get a cube sine cube theta cos cube theta. I'm directly writing, but if you take a common here, you'll get a square whole power 3 by 2 is a cube. And sine square theta whole power 3 by 2 is sine cube. And 1 minus sine square theta cos square theta is cos cube. Into a into 2 sine theta cos theta. So we have a cube here, a here, total a power 7 and 2. Sine power 6, sine power 10 will come total. Cos cube and cos power 4. Both are even. We have a formula 2 a power 7 into. For 10, I have to decrease 1, so it will be 9 into 7 into 5 into 3 into 1. For 4, I have to decrease 1, which is 3 into 1. 10 plus 4, 14 into 12 into all that. 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. Because both are even, I have to multiply with 5. Of course, we have to simplify this.
Nine pi into a power 7 by 2048.
Okay, so other things are getting cancelled. 7 will cancel, 5 will cancel, 1, 3 will cancel with 2.
3 and
9,
12. Sir.
3 and 12 actually. But 3, 4 are 12. So finally, the and 2 also will cancel. One of them. Yeah, so definitely 9 should be in the numerator. So 9 pi a power 7. Oh, denominator mostly 2, so it is easier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It is 2 power 11. We all know 2 power 10 is 1024, so 2 power 11 is 204. Yes. Okay, 107. Okay, please try to understand 105 if you are not yet completed. If you completed, good. If you completed, try 107. Okay, 105. Anybody has doubt? Okay, I'm going to erase that. Okay, 107. 0 to pi root 2. 1 plus cos x, you can write 2 cos square x by 2. 0 to pi, this is 2 power 1 by 2, 2 power 7 by 2, cos square, cos power 7 x by 2 dx. Better to take x by 2 as t, then dx will be 2 dt. Limits also will be 0 to pi by 2. This into this together is 2 power 4. This is cos power 70 and dx is 2 dt. So 2 power 5, 0 to pi by 2, cos power 70. 2 power 5 into cos power 7 according to formula, it will be 6 by 7 into 4 by 5 into 2 by 3. Whenever 2 by 3, we'll write 1. Denominators are odd numbers, so nothing much will cancel. 2 power 5, 2 power 6, 2 power 7, 8, 9. 2 power 9 should be 512. Okay. So 2 power 9 by 35, 512 by 35. All right, completed 107. Okay. Okay, next we have definite integrals involving determinants. But unlike differentiation, in integration, there is no way to integrate a determinant. I hope all of you know how to differentiate a determinant. Let's have some things like this. This whole thing is f of x. Anybody remembers how to differentiate a determinant?
First, we'll differentiate the first column, and then the second column, and then the third.
Yeah, we have to write sum of 3 determinants. One time column 1 will differentiate, column 2, column 3 as it is. Another time column 2 will differentiate, column 1, column 3 as it is. Another time column 3 will differentiate. Instead of that, you can do rows also. Okay, but that came from UV rule or UVW rule. In integration, we don't have any UV rule kind of thing. So how to integrate a determinant? We don't have any method. The only method is expand the determinant, find that expression, and then integrate as usual. Okay. But sometimes, if you can identify it as even or odd function, we may be able to say answer is 0 or something, depending on the limits. Otherwise, there's no specific method for doing determinant. Just expand and do it only. So 109. I need to just expand the determinant only. So when I just expand the determinant, I will get 4 cos cube x plus 0 plus 0 minus 0 minus cos x minus 2 cos x. Four cos cube x plus 0 yes. Oh, that's exactly cos 3x. 4 cos cube x minus 3 cos x, which is cos 3x. And you can just integrate. So 0 to pi by 2 f of x dx is 0 to pi by 2 cos 3x dx. Normal integration minus sine 3x plus sine 3x by 3, 0 to pi by 2. When you put pi by 2, sine 3 pi by 2 is minus 1. When you put 0, it is 0. Are you able to feel board is more clear than earlier?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anybody any doubt in 107 or 109? Okay, 111. We'll use some properties of determinants, try to get some few zeros here and there, and somehow expand only, and then find the integration. That's it. So I think I can write column 1 as column 1 minus column 2 minus column 3. Then I'll be getting sin x 0, 0. And sin 2x, sin 3x, 3, and 4 sin. Two zeros already we got, so just expand. It is sin x into 3 minus 4 sin square x. Okay, again we're getting sin 3x formula here. 3 sin x minus 4 sin cube x, which is sin of 3x. Previous one is about 3x, now sin 3x, and they wanted between 0 to pi by 2. This is minus cos 3x by 3 with 0 to pi by 2. When I put pi by 2 it is 0, when I put 0 it is minus 1 by 3, so this will be plus 1 by 3. Okay, after this we are going to discuss one important concept. Okay, already completed 111 also. Okay, I'm going to erase. Okay, so what we're going to discuss is actually quite related to the first class of indefinite integration actually. Before even starting indefinite integration, I explained something. It is somewhat similar to that. I said right in the beginning that in historical, if you see, the integration came much before differentiation. Okay, I said this statement. If you somebody just studies, in a formula-based manner, they may think, indefinite integration is first, and without that, how can you even do definite integration? It is actually the other way. I also said right in the beginning, let us say there is a curve, and between A to B, I want to find area under that. So how are you going to find it? I can draw many lines like this. Take this as a rectangle here, this is a rectangle, this is a rectangle, this is a rectangle. Find this area, this area, this area, and this area. You will get, may not be the exact area what we needed, okay, but quite close to that. I'm sure if I take more strips, my area will be little more closer, okay. So here I took only 4 strips. If I take n strips in between these two, that is number of strips is n, and then find all these rectangles area, I'll get a function in terms of n, area in terms of n. Then I'm going to apply n tends to infinity. When the number n, the number of strips you are taking is tending to infinity, the sum of all these rectangles area will be tending to area of this area under the curve. Okay, that is the basic concept of the integration. So we don't even call area. Integral A to B f of x dx. It is defined as, I'm just taking our own mains material and clicking the very first definite integrals first, not indefinite. What we are discussing actually is called Riemann sums. The very first thing it was given, integral A to B f of x dx is limit n tends to infinity, b minus a by n sigma k equal to 1 to n f of a plus k minus 1 by n into b minus a. I don't know whether the spelling is correct or not. Okay, Riemann sums. Riemann is a very great mathematician. Okay. Somehow in our JEE advanced or mains preparation, these things were not asked about the mathematicians, only about what their theorems and all that. So it doesn't exactly matter what is the name, but Riemann sums. Riemann has many other theorems also proved, and which are very, very historical things in maths in the, like the breakthrough for some of the things. But coming to our present things, Riemann is the one who gave this definition. Integral A to B f of x dx is this. Where from this came? Let me explain this. Let's say I'll take only 4 parts. This x value is A, this x value is B. Can anybody tell me what is the x value here, what is the x value here, what is the x value here? All are equal parts. I'm taking equal lengths. Actually, you can take unequal lengths also in Riemann sums. That is, but in IP, what we study is mostly about equal intervals, so I'm not going to details of that. If all these are equal and this x value is A, this x value is B, anybody want to tell me what is this?
A plus B minus A by 4.
Yeah, actually each width, these are 4 parts, total width is B minus A. So each small width will be B minus A by 4. So based on that, this x value will be A plus B minus A by 4. This x value will be A plus 2 times B minus A by 4. And this x value will be A plus 3 times B minus A by 4. And what are these points? Y coordinates. If I take the curve y equal to f of x, because x coordinate is A, this y coordinate is f of A. This y coordinate will be f of this x coordinate, which is this f of a plus b minus a by 4. This would have been f of a plus 2 times b minus a by 4. Okay. So now, what is the area of this first rectangle? B minus a by 4 is the width and height is f of a. What is the area of the second rectangle? Same width b minus a by 4 and height is f of a plus b minus a by 4. That is the height here. What about this rectangle? Same width b minus a by 4 and f of a plus 2 times b minus a by 4. And third one, f of a plus 3 times b minus a by 4. Actually, this should be 0. Okay, so wonderful. If you take all these things together, you will get b minus a by 4, f of a plus this one, plus this one, plus this one. All are b minus a by 4. So when I take n equal to 4, you can see all these things. B minus a by 4, sigma k equal to 1 to 4, this. When you put k equal to 1, a, that is this one. When you put k equal to 2 and n is 4, 1 by 4, 2 by 4, okay, 2 by 4. This is 3 by 4. Okay. So this is nothing but adding all these strips. This is when I took 4. When I take 5 strips, I'll get 5 things and I'll be getting 5 here, 5 here, 5 here. All the widths of the rectangle. First height will be f of a, next will be this, next will be this, next will be this. One more strip will come where f of a plus 4 times b minus a by 5. So you're not able to see, but it's okay. Okay, that's how this is defined. Now one may say, why are you taking only this rectangle? Instead of that, I want to take this rectangle higher wise. Okay, so you can take that. Then first f of a will not come. First itself a plus b minus a by 4 will come because I am taking the height here. Okay, nothing wrong. When it depends on the curve shape it is. If the curve would have been like this, if somebody takes area like this, like this, like this, when you take 3 strips, your area is less than the required area. When you take 4 strips, it will increase. 5 strips, it will increase. Finally, when you take infinite steps, it will reach area. Instead of taking lower one, if you take rectangle up to here, up to here, up to here, you are taking this total, this total, this total. Then your area is already crossing the area required. It is more than the area. But the more number of steps you take, it will decrease. And finally, it will reach exactly what we want. Okay, so when you take here limits, I can take k1 to n, or when you take k equal to 1, it will be actually 0 to n minus 1. I can take k2 to n plus 1, or instead of k minus 1, let me write k here. When I write k, I can take 0 to n minus 1, or I can take k equal to 1 to n. When I'm taking 0 to n minus 1, it means I'm taking, in a sense, all the lower rectangles for this curve, not for all the curves lower, but what I'm taking is starting from here, this side, next this side, next this side. The final height I'm not using. If I take 1 to n, I'm taking this rectangle first, this rectangle next, this rectangle next. Okay, then I'm not using the first height. I'm using this height, and the height here. But ultimately, when n tends to infinity, the number of strips will become so many, and our area will be very close to the actual area finally. Okay, so this is a very definition. And for example, if somebody wants integral pi by 2 to pi, okay, sin x dx. I'm not going to write all the detailed steps. I'm going to just show you. All of you know what is the answer for this. Let me take cos x otherwise. And don't even take pi by 2 to pi, a to b. The answer for this is, all of you know, it is sin b minus sin a. Correct? Cos x integral is sin x, upper limit, lower limit. But initially, when we started integration, this was not derived the way that you integrate indefinite integration, put upper limits, lower limits. Use these limits, automatically you'll get this answer. You really take limit n tends to infinity, take b minus a by n, sigma k equal to 0 to n, f of or sine cos of a plus k by n into b minus a. Then one may say, how will you find these limits? Okay, in first year limits we studied so much. This one If you put k equal to 0, k equal to 1, k equal to 2, let us see what happens. I'll get cos A, cos B minus A by n, cos 2 into B minus A by n, cos 3 into B minus A by n. So, anybody remembers in first year, whenever I have angles which are in, this A plus is also there, A plus. Whenever angles are in arithmetic progression, like cos A plus cos A plus D plus cos A plus 2D, cos A plus 3D, so on. There is a way to simplify. How to simplify this in first year trigonometry? Anybody remembers? Cos A plus D, cos A plus 2D, cos A plus 3D. Angles are in arithmetic progression. Roshini, what is the method for simplifying this kind of series?
Multiply and divide with sine d by 2.
Yeah, multiply and divide with 2 sine d by 2. And this into this apply transformation formula, this into this apply transformation formula, this into this apply transformation formula, this into this apply transformation formula. You will get like method of differences. A lot of things will cancel. You can simplify that. So like that, you can simplify this and use some suitable limits formula. Finally, you'll get this answer. Okay. So that's how this came. It is not by indefinite integration. Then later on, what they thought, it is in the form of f of b minus f of a, and that f of x is sine x. And for this is integral, correct? And when you differentiate this, this is coming. So integration is nothing but anti-differentiation. That was discovered later, and it was like a breakthrough. Okay, but we don't bother all that. We just tell reverse of differentiation is integration, and we just give a list of formulas, and we do finish indefinite, and then we do definite. But it's actually not that way. So if you look at our IP first exercise, we have questions like this. Integrals will be given. Okay, they will give you integral 2 to 3 x square dx. You are not supposed to write x cube by 3, put upper limit, lower limit. No, that is not the way to do them. They clearly say, using integrals as a limit of sum, try to do by that. Then you have to write this kind of expression. Simplify that by using some kind of sequence and series, progression, some formulas. Use first year limits formulas and get the answer, whatever supposed to come. Not by the reverse of differentiation, that process. Okay, so to understand Riemann-Sums properly. But now why I'm discussing all that? Because we are not writing any subjective exam. If it is a subjective exam, they can ask this question even in a JEE advanced. Show this by, without using reverse of differentiation, by first principle, that is Riemann-Sums definition. But now another great use of this is, there are a lot of limits questions, which by using limits, formulas that you learnt in first year, they are difficult. We can convert integration into limits, right? Now we are going to do reverse. We are going to convert limits questions into integration. All right. So I'm going to explain about it, and then we'll see. Okay, so just put heading Riemann-Sums. I don't know correct spelling, but I'm writing R-E-I-M-A-N-N. I can see somewhere and tell, but I don't care. Integral. Okay, first point, integral a to b f of x dx equal to limit n tends to infinity b minus a by n sigma k equal to 1 to n f of a plus l at 0 to n minus 1 k by n into b minus a. It is also same as limit n tends to infinity b minus a by n sigma k equal to 1 to n f of a plus k by n b minus a. If you are taking 0 to n minus 1, you are taking that lower rectangles. If you take 1 to n, you are taking upper rectangles. If the curve would have been like this, if curve would have been like this, maybe this is upper, this is lower. And if curve is varying, it's slightly different. I'm going up and down. Okay, everybody understood how when you open this sigma, you will get many terms. Each of them are areas of different strips. Is that point clear to everyone? Okay. Okay, we are not going to deal with a to b so often. We are going to deal with 0 to 1. So let me write separately for integral 0 to 1 f of x dx. Same formula, but b is 1, a is 0. So what will happen when b is 1, a is 0? 1 by n. Limit n tends to infinity 1 by n. And a is 0 and b is 1. So it is simply f of k by n. Sigma k equal to 0 to n minus 1 f of k by n. It is also same as the limit n tends to infinity 1 by n sigma k equal to 1 to n f of k by n. This what we are going to use more often. Even this alone you can understand very easily. I'll just show you from the figure. Let's say there is a curve between 0 to 1. You make them into n strips. If you make into n strips, what is the x coordinate here? 1 by n. This is 2 by n. This is 3 by n. This is 4 by n. If somebody takes rectangle up to here, 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 what's the area of this rectangle? This point is height is f of 0. This height is f of 1. This height is f of 1 by n. This height will be f of n minus 1 by n anyway. Okay. Depending on how many you take. So width 1 by n, height f of 0. That is this first term here. Width 1 by n, height f of 1 by n. When you put k equal to 1, k equal to 2, k equal to 3 will get. If somebody takes higher rectangles like this, that is this one. This and this are same. Only thing is the a is 0, b is 1. And it is more easy to relate all the x coordinates, corresponding heights, and how this into this is giving different rectangles. With every time width is 1 by n, height is f of 0, f of 1 by n, f of 2 by n, f of 3 by n, f of n minus 1 by n, and f of 1. Okay, we wanted to do from here to here reverse, but at least let me do one question to do from here to here. Okay. Okay, let us say you don't know anything about integration, reverse of differentiation and all that. We know only this definition. Let us take this. I want to find integral 0 to 1 x squared dx. We know other way, that is x cubed by 3, answer is 1 by 3. Let us say that this will come from that. Limit n tends to infinity. 1 by n. Sigma k equal to 1 to n. What is my f of x square? So here I have to write based on this k by n whole square. Limit n tends to infinity. What is sigma k square means? 1 square plus 2 square plus 3 square, so on to n square. Let me write properly. 1 by n into 1 by n whole square plus 2 by n whole square, so on up to n by n whole square. All denominators are same, n square I can take common. Limit n tends to infinity. It is 1 square plus 2 square plus 3 square, so on up to n square by n cube. Limit n tends to infinity. All of you know sum of squares of n natural numbers, n into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 by 6 by n cube. Limit n tends to infinity. One n will cancel, one n you divide here, one n you divide here. It will be 1 plus 1 by n, 2 plus 1 by n by 6. When n is infinity, this will become 0, this will become 0. We'll get 1 plus 0 into 2 plus 0 by 6, which is 1 by 3. Okay, so integral 0 to 1 x square dx 1 by 3 is by this way. Similarly, if you take 0 to, let us say, L, answer will come L square by 3 if I use properly the limits way. Okay, one may say other method is so easy. X square integral is x cube by 3, put upper limit, lower limit. I got 1 by 3 just like that. But how x square integral is x cube by 3? The proof is again based on this. Okay, everybody clear about this? Okay. Please copy this. Everybody copied the two formulas, right? This one and the previous formula that I wrote about Riemann sums. Why when I ask question, nobody speaks? Everybody thinks somebody else will answer.
Sir, can you explain last 3 steps, sir?
Okay. You don't have any problem up to here, right?
No, sir. Last 3 steps.
These two.
No, sir. Before one.
Okay, fine. So from here to here, sum of squares of n natural numbers, we have a formula, right? N into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 by 6 sigma n square. From here to here, what I have done, one n I cancelled, another n I divided here, another n I divided here. Out of n cube, one n here, one n here, one n cube. That is this. When n is infinity, 1 by infinity will become 0, right?
Thank you.
Tomorrow we'll discuss all your doubts both in mains and IP. Have all of you tried IP 7C exercise also?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You could get most of them?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. If any doubts in 7B or 7C or even mains up to 100, we'll discuss tomorrow. Tomorrow after doubts are over, if time is there only, I'll continue this. Okay. So now we are going to see one limits question, which is by limits a little difficult, but we can convert back into integral. What is that? Let us take one example. Limit n tends to infinity. 1 power 7 plus 2 power 7 plus 3 power 7 so on up to n power 7 by n power 8. Unfortunately, I have only formulas for sum of natural numbers, sum of their squares and sum of their cubes. I may have formula for this, but the formula is very complicated and takes time to derive it. So as if it is not there, you can take like that. Now what to do? I'll borrow one n outside and n power 7 I will divide here everywhere. So I'll be getting 1 by n whole power 7, 2 by n whole power 7, 3 by n whole power 7, so on up to n by n whole power 7. Which is actually limit n tends to infinity 1 by n sigma f of k by n, where k equal to 1 to n, where f of x is equal to x power 7. From here to here, is it correct? You take x by 7, put 1 by n, this will come, put 2 by n, this will come, put 3 by n, this will come, put n by n, this will come. Or let me write in one more step also if you want. I'll put it as k by n whole power 7, which is equal to limit n tends to infinity 1 by n sigma k equal to 1 to n f of k by n, where f of x is equal to x power 7. Okay. Earlier integral we converted into limits. We solved that limits and then we got the answer. But now this limit, by limits alone I cannot solve. So I try to write. Now can anybody tell me which kind of function, okay, like this, when I try to use Riemann sums, I got this limit like that. What must be here so that when I use Riemann sums, this will come? Anybody want to guess? Zero to one x squared dx, I got this one and I got this one. To get this one or this one, what would have been that integral which would have given us this?
Integral 0 to 1 x power 7.
Yes, integral 0 to 1 x power 7 dx. If I had to start that, I would have written exactly same, but power 7, which is exactly this or this. When I expand, everything is this and this are same. This of square 7 is there. So if somebody would have asked me 0 to 1 x power 7 dx in the beginning of integration, I would have done by this way. I would have got this limit. How to solve this limit? That is second issue. Okay. But now we are doing reverse. This is equal to this, and integral is x power 8 by 8 with 0 to 1, which is 1 by 8. So this is doing limits questions by using integration after knowing that integration is antiderivative. Okay, so you are in the future, this kind of questions, what is important for you is first thing, we need 1 by n outside because in this formula 1 by n is there, right? Okay, 1 by n is required. And other terms, they should all look similar. The what is here, what is here, what is here should similar. Here 1 by n should be there. 1 by n should be replaced with 2 by n to get this. 2 by n should be replaced with 3 by n to get this. And that 1 by n, you take it as x, and that will give you a function. So if you take this as x or this as x or this as x, all that looking like x power 7. Okay, that is a function. So many times people will ask how to know these two limits or how to identify this function. Limits are usually 0 to 1. When it changes, how it changes, I'll tell you. Right now, let us take 0 to 1. The function is very, very easy. After borrowing one n outside 1 by n, other terms they look similar. They all look like one f of x where one time x is substituted 1 by n, one time x is substituted 2 by n, one time x is substituted 3 by n. That will give you, if you put x here, you will know what is the function, x power 7. Okay, so you can see these are questions back to back. This is integration converted into limits. This is limits converted into integral, and very easy to recognize mostly. Anybody any doubt in any one of this upper part or lower part? Okay, so please don't neglect. By tomorrow, please complete exercise 7C fully. 7B definitely should complete, but 7C fully. And then mains material objectives up to 100. Okay. Tomorrow I'll clarify the doubts and then I'll continue this topic of Riemann sums. Okay. So if you completed and copied this, you can leave. Thank you very much. And today no KVPY class. Again, after holidays only we'll have.